So now if you see the fourth and the sixth terms are given. So given here is A4 equal to 8 and A6 is equal to 14. These two are given. Now these two will help you get the first term and the common difference of the AP. Okay. So start with the first one. So we have A4 is equal to 8. And that means A1 plus 4 minus 1 into D is equal to 8. That means A1 plus 3D is equal to 8. This is the first equation. Okay. Also, A6 is equal to 14. That means A1 plus 6 minus 1 into D is equal to 14. A1 plus 5D is equal to 14. This is the second equation. You solve these two equations, solve for A1 and D simultaneously to get the first term and the common difference. So solve it by elimination method. Subtract the two equations. This cancels. And you have 3 minus 5 is minus 2D. 8 minus 14 is minus 6. So you get D is equal to minus 6 by minus 2. That means you get D is equal to 3. Okay. So putting D is equal to 3, let's put it in equation number 1. A1 plus 3 into D. D is 3 is equal to 8. That means A1 plus 9 is equal to 8. That means you get A1 is equal to 8 minus 9, which is equal to minus 1. So you got the first term and the common difference. Okay. So that is your first term. We have got, what is the first term? First term we have got as minus 1. And the common difference also we have got D is equal to 3. So that completes the first two parts. Now the next question is sum of the first 20 terms. That means you will have to find S20. So first write the formula. Sn, sum of n terms, is equal to n by 2 twice A1 plus n minus 1 into D. That means S20, sum of the first 20 terms, n by 2, that is 20 by 2, twice A1. A1 is minus 1 plus 20 minus 1 and D is 3. Now you can simplify this. Cancels. You get 10 times minus 2 plus 19 into 3 is 57. So you get 10 times 55, which is 550. And that's the sum of the first 20 terms. Any question here? Okay. We do the next sum here. Now the next sum is a little different, and before this problem, I would like to discuss a small thing here. Okay, that if you see, if I have an AP, like say, let us consider a very simple AP. This AP, right? Now, if you take the, if you want to find out, let's say this one, this is the seventh term, right? So how will you find out the seventh term if the sum of the first 8 terms are given to you and the sum of the first 6 terms are given to you. What you see is that here this term, 7th term, if you take the sum of the first 8 terms, and you take the sum of the first 6 terms, in fact, not first 6 terms, first 7 terms, here, okay, now this is 7 is the 7th term. If you want to find out, if you know the sum of the first 7 terms, and if you know the sum of the first 6 terms, so I'll just erase this here. What you see is that this means this is S7, sum of the first 7 terms, and minus this is the sum of the first 6 terms. And what are you getting here? This is you're getting A7, right? So the 7th term, if you know the sum of the first 7 terms, and if you know the first sum of the first 6 terms, you can find out the 7th term by subtracting them. That means from here we get a relation, a new relation, which you should remember, that the nth term, an, is the sum of the first n terms minus the sum of the first n minus 1 terms. Okay. If you know the sum of the first n terms, and if you know the sum of the first n minus 1 terms, you can get the nth term. For example, if you want to find, say, A10, the 10th term you want to find, then you must know the sum of the first 10 terms, and you must know the sum of the first 9 terms. If you know the sum of the first 10 terms, if you know the sum of the first 9 terms, you subtract them, you will get the 10th term, right? If you want to find out, say the 39th term, then you take the sum of the first 40 terms and take the sum of the first 39 terms. You will get the 39th term. Okay. So once we know this, let us do a problem from here. This is a very important relation actually. Okay. The question here is, in an AP, the sum of its first n terms.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, you have written A37 equals to S40 minus S37. Sir, if we
Yes, it should be
minus the sum of the terms,
it should be S39 minus S38.
9 minus 38.
Yes. Okay. Sum of the first n terms is 6n minus n square. Find the 25th term. Okay. So here, if you see, given to us is the sum of the first n terms. So Sn is given to you. 6n minus n square. So if you apply the above relation here, an is equal to Sn minus 1, we want to find A25, right? So A25 in terms of the sum will be S25 minus S24. So if you know the sum of the first 25 terms, and if you know the sum of the first 24 terms, you can find the 25th term. So let us find out S25, because we know Sn. Therefore, S25 is equal to, put n is equal to 25 in this, 6 into 25 minus 25 square, which is equal to 150 minus 625. Okay, so this should be 475. And also let us find out the sum of the first 24 terms by putting n is equal to 24 in the relation. You will get 6 into 24 minus 24 square. So this is 144 minus, and 24 square is 576, which you get as 432. So you've got S25 and S24. Hence, what is the 25th term? A25 is equal to S25 minus S24, which is equal to 475
43.
minus 432, which is 43. That is the, okay. So this type of problem is an important problem. Okay, take note of this problem and take note of the formula also. So let us proceed with the next problem. The next problem here is the fourth term of an AP is 22. And 15th term is 66. Find the first term and the common difference. Now this part you can do very easily, right? Because you know the fourth term, you know A4, and you know A15. Okay. Hence find the sum of 8 terms of the AP. Okay. So given here is A4, 22. Also 15 term is given, that means A15 is given as 66. This problem is very similar to the last problem, and such problem is a very important also. That is why I am solving two problem of this type. So start with the first one. We have A1 plus 4 minus 1 into D, 22. That means A1 plus 3D is equal to 22. This is our first equation. Also, A15 is equal to 66. That means A1 plus 15 minus 1 into D is equal to 66. That means A1 plus 14D is equal to 66. This is our second equation. Now we'll solve simultaneously once again. Subtract. So you get 14 minus 3 as minus 11D, and 22 minus 66 is minus 44. That means you get D is equal to minus 44 divided by minus 11, which is equal to 4. Okay, once you get D, now we can find out A1. You can put it in the first equation to find out A1. Putting D is equal to 4 in 1. We get A1 plus 3 into D, which is 4, is equal to 22. So you get A1 plus 12 is equal to 22. That means you get A1 is equal to 22 minus 12, which is equal to 10. So you've got the first term and the common difference of the AP. Now the next question is sum of the first 8 terms of the AP. So First, write down the formula for n terms. Put the values S20, sorry, S8. We need to find the sum of the first 8 terms. So S8 is equal to 8 by 2. And now you put the value of A1 and D. A1 we have found out as 10, N is 8, and D we found out as 4. So you can cancel here. Get 4, 20 plus 7 into 4, which is 28, which is equal to 4 into 48, which is 192, right? So this is a very important kind of a sum. Take note of this sum also. Look at the next one. Another important type of sum from AP. If the sum of first 6 terms of an AP is 36 and that of the first 16 terms is 256. Find the sum of first 10 terms. Okay. So given here, sum of the first 6 terms, that means S6 is given to you, 36. And that of the first 16 terms, that means S16 is given to you as 256. Now, just as in the previous problem, if you see in the last problem, the fourth term and the 15 terms were given, from which we were finding out D and A1. This is a very similar kind of a sum in which the terms are not given, but in fact the sums are given. In this, the S6 is given and S16 is given. From these two, we will try to form a simultaneous equation, and then we shall solve this simultaneous equation exactly like the previous problem. Okay, we start with the first one. First, write down the formula. Sn is equal to n by 2 twice A1 plus n minus 1 into D. Put n is equal to 6. You get S6 is equal to 6 by 2 twice A1 plus 6 minus 1 into D. So you get, now what is the value of S6 given? 36. So you put the value here. 36 is equal to, you can cancel here, 3 into twice A1 plus 5D. Okay. That means you get twice A1 plus 5D is equal to 36 by 3, dividing both sides by 3. Means you get twice A1 plus 5D is equal to, this can cancel here, 12. So you get the first simultaneous equation. Okay. Also, now put next time, because you know S16, you put n is equal to 16 in Sn. S16 is equal to 16 by 2 twice A1 plus 16 minus 1 into D. That means S16 is equal to 8 times twice A1 plus 15D. Now put the value of S16. S16 is given to you as 256. 8 times twice A1 plus 15D. You divide both sides by 8. So you get twice A1 plus 15D is equal to 256 divided by 8. Let's write it. So you get twice A1 plus 15D is equal to, this will cancel, 32 times. Get the second equation. Now we shall solve these two equations to get the values of A1 and D. So you can subtract the two equations because the coefficient of A1 is 2 for both the equations. Subtract, this cancels. So you get 5D minus 15D as minus 10D, and you get 12 minus 32 as minus 20. So you get D is equal to minus 20 divided by minus 10. That means you get D is equal to 2. Okay. So now you can find out the value of A1 by putting it in equation number 1. So putting D is equal to 2 in 1. Twice A1 plus 5 into D is equal to 12. That means you get twice A1 plus 10 is equal to 12. You take 10 on the other side. Twice A1 is equal to 12 minus 10. That means you get twice A1 is equal to 2. You get A1 is equal to 1. So you got the first term and the common difference. Now the question here is not to find out the first term and the common difference, but in fact, question here is to find out the sum of the first 10 terms. You know the first term and the common difference, so you can easily find out the sum of the first 10 terms. So hence S10 we need to find. Put it in the formula. S10 is equal to 10 by 2 twice A1 plus 10 minus 1 into D, which is equal to, you can cancel this, 5. And now you can put the value of A1 and D also. 10 minus 1 is 9 and D is 2. 5 times 2 plus 18, which is 5 into 20. And therefore the sum of the first 10 terms is 100. Is this problem clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if this is clear, then we can do one more sum, an important type of sum. Question is, find the sum of all multiples of 9 between 300 and 700. Okay, so what are the multiples of 9? Let's see between these two numbers. The multiples of 9 between 300 and 700 are, what is the first multiple of 9? Above is 301 a multiple of 9? No, because the sum of the digits do not divide by 9. Is 302 a multiple of 9? No, because the sum of the digits is still not divisible by 9. 303? No.
4.
304, is it divisible by 9? No, because the
Yes.
sum of the digits is not divisible by 9. 304 is sum of the digits is 7. So it is not divisible by 9. 305. Yes, 305. No, so even 305. Sum of the digits is 8. It is not divisible. 306 is. So the first number above 300 that is divisible by 9 is 306. The next number, you just keep on adding 9 to this. Next number is 315. That is divisible by 9. Next number is 324 and so on. And what should be the last one? Just a number just below 700. Which number just below 700 is divisible by 9? 699. Yeah, the sum of the digits divisible by 9? No, because yes, it is divisible. 699 is divisible. No, the sum of the digits is 24. No, 24 is not divisible. So 699 is not divisible. Okay, 698, is it divisible? 698 I don't think is divisible. 697 is not divisible. 696, are the sum of the digits divisible? 696? No, it is not divisible. How about 695? It is not divisible. How about 694? This is also not divisible. 693. This is divisible. So the last number just below 700, which is divisible by 9, is 693. So this forms an AP. With first term, A1 is equal to 306. Common difference is 9. Right? So we know the first term and the common difference. But the problem is that we don't know n. So let this be the nth term. Let 693 be the nth term. Okay, so therefore an is equal to 693. That means a1 plus n minus 1 into d is equal to 693. That means 306 plus n minus 1 into d is equal to 693. That means 9 times n minus 1 is equal to 693 minus 306. Okay, so this will come to 387. That means n minus 1 is equal to 387 divided by 9. Means n minus 1 is equal to, if you, this will cancel with 43 times. That means n is equal to 44 you're getting, right? So therefore, what is the sum of all the multiples of 9 between the multiples? It is 44. We have to sum up till 44 terms, right? So S44 is
Yes,
equal to 44 divide n by 2 twice. A1 here is 306 plus 44 minus 1 into d. D is 9. Okay, so I'm not calculating. You can calculate on your own. Okay, so this is how you find out the sum of all the multiples. Okay, so I'll stop here then.